Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the My Library is Ask Us Anything Binge Boxes event. This is the first time we're doing a Ask Us Anything type event. And I'm very excited. We have three great speakers. They're all going to talk about their binge box programs. So before we do that, I just want to take a quick look at our agenda for today. So I'm going to start just doing some introductions and welcome. We will talk a little bit about My Library's resources because this is part of the My Library's campaign. And then we'll get to our three presenters. We'll do a Q&A, and then we will close it out for today. So just a quick note about the My Library Is campaign. And if you haven't seen it, you can go to mylibraryis.org. We have a ton of resources on there. Basically, it's allowing, we're trying to help libraries tell their story, trying to give them access to resources, things they can download, events like this, videos, a lot of other resources on there. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. A lot of blog posts, a lot of videos that you can access there. I do want to point specifically this talking points document. This is something we created last year. It's available in full color PDF. There are 4 versions: an academic, public, school, and special public library version. This is something you could download and share with patrons. You can share with board members. You can share it with your community, anyone and everyone. And there's also a Word version as well. So check that out. I also want to encourage you, if you ever have any interest, if you ever want to brag about something that you're doing in your library, if you ever want to tell a story about something that's really gone well for you, some type of marketing, advocacy, promotional campaign that you have, you can actually add a blog post to the My Library's website. So just log in with your L2 username and password. That works on the My Library's website. You can add your blog post, and it will need to be approved, but usually that's done within 24 hours. If you have any questions about what you might want to write about, you can always contact me. I'll put my contact information into the chat in a second here. But it's great. We love to hear stories about our libraries and what's happening in our libraries. So please do consider that. Okay, so that was, as I promised, a very brief reminder about some of the things we have going on with the My Library Is campaign. But I want to welcome our 3 presenters: Jessica Elder from the Carroll Stream Public Library, Katie Allan from the Orland Park Public Library, and Meg Golembiewski from the Prospect Heights Public Library. Thank you, Jessica, Katie, and Meg. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we'll turn it over to Jessica, who will do the first presentation. And so, Jessica, whenever you are ready.
Okay, I share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Looks great. Thanks, Jessica.
Sure. Get my timer going so I don't go over. All right, so I'm Jessica Elder. I'm an adult services librarian and our adult services programming coordinator at the Carroll Stream Public Library. I'm going to talk about the binge box service, which is all ages. But what I'm saying is just about the adult services side of things, because youth services is a little different, as is teen. It's pretty close though. So we started this in January 2020, which is a little bit pre-pandemic, because we were looking for interesting passive programs during our big renovation. That was in 2019. So there's a kind of before and after picture. And if you're in the western suburbs, I encourage you to come out for a visit. And our library is a super beautiful facility. Our patrons are loving it. But in that meantime, we were looking for things because we did not have a meeting room to host traditional programs in. So looking for ideas, I wandered over to our youth services department, where I saw our middle school librarian at the time, Laura Spradlin, was doing a service for middle schoolers, which was binge boxes. And I said, "Ooh, that's really cool." And I did an unboxing video for our Facebook. And I said, "Oh, look what the middle schoolers have. Would adults like that?" And we had so many comments from adults that I was like, well, I guess we'll have to try it out then. So we did. And how we described it was in our marketing is that a binge box is a box full of books hand selected for you by our librarians, plus treats and small gifts to brighten your day. We've done several different theme ones, which some fun ones were the Binge barks, which we said, describe your pet and tell us a little bit about what you like to read. And we did boxes for dogs, cats, a parakeet, a guinea pig. So it was really fun. And people sent us in really cute pictures. We did a baking theme, which got a lot of our cookbooks off the shelf. We were almost wiped out of cookbooks by the end of that month. And they got a fun cookie cutter and a cookie mix in that box. And then one time we put this service to use was the DVD shelves were looking really full. So we said, instead of doing a weeding project, maybe we can get these checked out in people's houses instead of on our shelves. And it was really, really popular. Randomly, people have told us it's their birthday and we've made them a birthday box. We've done holidays, heritage months like Black History Month, Women's History Month. We did one by astrological signs, which was really fun and popular. And then when the building was shut down due to the COVID pandemic, we did ebooks and we sent an email with the pictures of the covers for Hoopla that linked out to those books. And that was really popular way to continue this service. So the basic framework is that it's created as a calendar event that a patron registers for, and they need to have a library card because we have to check out the books to them. So they put in their preferences, and then our staff goes in and looks at that registration, and we can edit the special notes just so that we keep track of which requests are done. We go make the box, decorate it, pick out the 4 books, and write an individual sticky note on each one. Check it out to them with the extended due date so that they have time to come pick it up and enjoy it. And we keep track of what we send them in an Excel file that we share with the department. So if they do the service again, we don't send them the same book. So then we email them, it's ready. We put it behind the circulation desk, or they can come to curbside. Pricing and sourcing. So right now we are using Garbies, which our library was already using for other orders of office supplies and things. It's a little bit cheaper than when we were using Packlane, which was nice because Packlane came pre-decorated, so it did save time on decorating them, but the price, it's just much more cost-effective for us to go to Garbies right now. So we designed the labels in Canva and use just our regular printer here and just tape it onto the plain box. And then inside the box is also a sign that says, the treats and box are yours to keep, but please return the books when they're due. And then we do snacks. I emphasized really plain chips because it's nice to have something that's kind of sneakily vegan, like Lay's, Fritos, Smart Pop, stuff like that, where you pretty much pass any dietary restriction and like gluten-free. I'd say no chocolate in the summer because we don't want the books chocolatey. And then we do a really, really cheap giveaway like stickers, bookmark, pencil, and then something with a little bit more wow factor, like when we did the cookie cutters, something more in the dollar range. Right now we have American flags because of the holiday. So on average, we're doing about 43 boxes a month for adult services at around $5, including the cost of the box and the wow factor giveaway and the chips and stuff. It's about $200 a month. Users do repeat requests. They can get one a month. So we have some that get it like pretty much every month. About maybe 12 people get it, just sign up every single month. And then we have a lot of new people. So it takes about maybe 30 minutes to make a box. So on average, we're probably spending somewhere around 20 hours of staff time a month. We put in 4 boxes a month. We've done over 1,300. So we've personally picked out over 5,000 books. So it's a really great way to pick out what books people are checking out. If there's a book that's like maybe on a dead list, but you want to save it, put it in a binge box. We have 464 unique users. And sometimes it feels like with programming that you're serving the same group of patrons over and over, but I looked just to make sure we're still getting a new audience, and it has grown. It's continuing to grow. So the feedback, patrons really, really love the program. This is a screenshot of Yelp, and you'll see people are posting the pictures of their binge box and how much they love it. They email us and come in and share things all the time. So, and then it's kind of a really interesting back and forth because they tell us what they like, and then we write these notes on there saying why we picked out the book. And so it's kind of like having a really very slow conversation. So, and then it's a great way to do reader's advisory. We're flexing those skills, and the patrons are also having a moment of self-discovery about what they like and why they like it. And then in conclusion, I'll just say, take a visit to your youth services department if you're in adult services, because there might be a lot of fun things you can adapt to adults that you might not have thought of. I've got a picture of some first-time gamers playing Just Dance on the Xbox. And these were ladies that previously came to like our workout things, and I got them gaming based on what the middle schoolers were liking at the time. So that's all I've got.
That's great. Thank you, Jessica. First of all, I love the concept of sneakily vegan. I want that to be my band's name. Also, I want to mention too, if you want to know more about Carol Stream's Binge Box program, I put the link to the blog post into the chat, and I will also again link the L2 page, because not only is the blog post on there, but we also put a PDF to the procedures behind the Carol Stream Binge Box program. So thank you again, Jessica. Okay, our next presenter is Katie Allan from the Orland Park Public Library. So Katie, feel free to share your screen.
Thank you, Dan. All right. Everybody see that okay? Great. Thank you. Again, my name is Katie Allan. I'm the Adult Services Manager at the Orland Park Public Library. I've been here since 2016, and I've been the Adult Department Manager since 2020. So I'm going to talk with you about our Flick Picks movie kits and kind of our experience with those over the years. And I put together some visuals. Oops, there we go. So I'll start with the original Flick Picks boxes. So this concept was introduced here in 2018, and the whole idea was to come up with something kind of fun and new to delight our patrons while also boosting circulation. So the staff at that time put together these boxes. There are these really sturdy plastic containers with handles on the top. And we have a fantastic graphics team here at Orland who created these great artwork for the cases. And they started off with these standard popular movie genres. So horror, drama, romance, fantasy, and so on. So each of the kits had 3 movies in each genre, 2 candy bars, and at the time it was 1 chocolate, 1 non-chocolate, and then 2 packages of microwave popcorn. So this was a pretty sweet little kit, and people loved it. So these were so well received that when the holidays came, we decided to introduce the holiday edition. So these came out in December of 2018, and we had variations on these too. We had like your old black and white Christmas classics. We had newer favorites like Elf and so on. And we even included a crackling fireplace video. And if you don't know what those are, it's literally just a DVD of a crackling fireplace. So it creates a nice cozy atmosphere for your winter activities. And those had the same snacks as our regular boxes. So fun. So then COVID came. And, with materials quarantining and the uncertainty with surface transmission, we kind of pulled everything out for a bit. And you can see in this picture, this is Clark the squirrel, who's kind of our unofficial library mascot. She gets into all kinds of trouble, so she's fun. Anyway, when we decided to bring these back, we thought we'd mix it up a bit. We have some really creative staff, and they decided to kind of do some twists on the usual standard genres. So they came up with, you can see in the picture, costume drama, passport to Asia, and then some more obscure and kind of clever themes. Like you can see just in the corner, there's Thanks T. Hanks, and that was a collection of all Tom Hanks films. So it was fun, but maybe a little too out there for some patrons who didn't know what to expect. So that's why we got some mixed reviews on this one. And this, with COVID, we were reluctant to offer food that could be consumed in the library. So we just included some microwave popcorn that folks could take home. And that seemed to work pretty well. So what worked? At first, the novelty was very appealing and people really enjoyed the snacks, of course. And again, they were so well produced and just really nicely crafted. It was just a very tight and appealing program. But there were a few hiccups. You couldn't return the boxes through the drop box, and this became a little more complicated with COVID. People became so accustomed to drive up and curbside services that I think just that little hump of getting in to return the boxes was off-putting for some. And then the cataloging could be complicated. Unlike what Jessica was describing with just grabbing 3 DVDs off the shelf, these were all cataloged as a kit. And so that made it a little more time consuming to put together and tougher to swap out different themes. And it could be frustrating too if people wanted just one particular title from the set because they were all grouped together, so you couldn't easily pull one out. And then, of course, some folks just check the kits out to get the snacks. So that could add to your programming costs pretty quick. So, we've noticed, I think probably this is a common story with physical DVD circulation dipping a bit over recent years. So we saw this happen with the FlickPix kits, and we thought, let's pull those out for a little bit and maybe try something new. We're always looking for things to delight our patrons. And so we thought, let's kind of pivot a little bit. So we made an investment in these binge boxes from Midwest Tape. And if you're not familiar with these, they're these pre-packaged movie kits that have 5 movies related to a particular theme. And they come in a regular DVD case, so they're super easy to check in, check out. And those have been fun. And they show you what's included on the cover. So that's just been an easy thing to introduce. And we're kind of thinking about what we might do next in terms of FlickPix version 3.0. We might return to our original themes. We might mix it up. And we're even talking about trying out books like the wonderful program that Jessica was just talking about, just doing something, along those lines. So I'm anxious to get everyone's ideas today. But whatever we do, I know we'll find something kind of fresh and fun for our patrons. It's just such a wonderful part of the job is coming up with new ideas. And that is it.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
I wanted to mention that I love the creativity behind coming up with some of the titles for those binge boxes. The Crackling Fireplace, which I thought was awesome, right? And there's that, for some reason there is that thing that people love, just the Crackling Fireplace. But also I'm very curious about the Didn't See That Coming one. Is that a horror one?
I think it was horror, like the jump scares.
Jump scares. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, but. Well, kudos to you and your team. That's super creative and interesting, and I think everyone can take something cool away from that. So thank you, Katie.
Thanks so much.
Okay, last but definitely not least, we have Meg Golembiewski from the Prospect Heights Public Library. Meg, yep, great, you got it. All right, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Dan, for the introduction. And let me just get this in full mode. Are we there? Come on, I did it earlier. Oh, I think it's because my Zoom thing is in the way and I can't see my, there we go. Okay. So yes, so welcome. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we did with borrow boxes here at the Prospect Heights Public Library. So again, we're just going to talk real briefly about, where the idea came from, a little bit of the how-to without getting too involved in it, and then some of the examples of some of the things we've done and how we've done it. So that's a little picture of me next to all of our borrow boxes. We usually don't put that many out at once. We usually put about maybe 8 at a time out on the floor, and then I just kind of watch the collection and replace them as needed. So we started our program back in the fall of 2019, and to give credit where credit is due, the original idea actually came from a coworker of mine who is no longer here at this library, but he was just a part-timer, and he had seen that they offered through Midwest Tape these binge boxes that I showed some pictures of at the bottom here. So just kind of the fun ones that are usually a little tongue-in-cheek, like Never Travel with Tom Hanks, and it's got, Apollo 13 and Castaway on there. The Man, the Myth, the Legend, Nicolas Cage. And so we thought that those were kind of really fun, but we thought rather than just limiting it to DVDs, we were like, libraries have so many more things than just like one format. So we were like, what if we did themed boxes that highlighted different types of materials we had on a theme? So generally speaking, the idea was that we do a box on a theme, and we do about 5 to 7 items from the library in a variety of formats. So that could be DVDs, books, magazines, audiobooks, and then we'd also include a couple treats in there. We typically do popcorn and M&Ms, just since those generally won't melt and stay pretty well packaged. And then usually we also give away something from our 3D printer, or we might do pins. We did a meditation and relaxation kit, and we did little face masks in there. So again, just something kind of fun. And then we wrap it all up so the patrons get kind of a fun unboxing experience when they get home. So, however, as with a lot of things like this, the idea sounds simple and the execution gets a little more complicated. And so this is kind of where I would say, if you're thinking about doing something like this, and ours were not personalized the way other libraries have done some of those, this was like very much, it goes up on our shelf and you take one that sounds interesting to you. You need the people from whatever department you're doing it in. I'm in adult services, and so currently this is what we're doing in adult services. I believe our youth program also has a box theme, but theirs is more individualized, where they would say like what they're interested in, how old they are, and the librarian select materials based on their needs. But for adults, it's just come see what's on the shelf, grab one. So you need people in adult services who can create the themes and select the materials for your boxes, assemble the boxes, and then ordering supplies also. So for instance, we have boxes that we ordered, tissue paper that we wrap the items in. We have to replenish the treats that we usually order in bulk. Tech services, this was important because when we put the items in the box, we need to make sure that they're showing in the catalog as in the box, because otherwise people wouldn't know, what happened to Jurassic Park, like, oh no, it's in the dinosaur box. And then we also changed the checkout rules so that all the items in the box are due back at the same time. Our library has rules that films go out for 1 week, whereas books and magazines usually go out for 3 weeks. We decided to just make anything in the box be 3 weeks, and to just make that easy. So we need to get tech services on board to kind of work with our items in our catalog. Communications department, we also needed to help us with some of the initial templates that we made to put in the box with handouts and stickers and things like that, as well as promotions that we've done, whether that be signage or things on social media. And then finally, you also need circulation involved, because they need to know how to check out these items to people and what to do when all this stuff comes back. So again, it starts in one department, but ours was very much a kind of, everyone had to have a little bit of a hand in it. So just something to consider when you're doing this. But the fun thing to do then, once you've ironed out all those details, is to choose your theme. So that's usually when I start creating a box, I start with it. This is just a list of some of the ones we've done. But as you can see, sometimes they're pretty straightforward. Sometimes they're kind of a more fun title, like we did Go Cubs Go. I did another baseball one, which was Crosstown Classic, where I did both Sox and Cubs, but here on the Northwest side, we have a lot more Cubs fans than Sox fans. Sometimes we do it seasonally, like around Christmas time, do holiday baking, around Halloween, hauntings. Sometimes we kind of think about what's going on in the world, like so in June when there was the new Jurassic World movie that came out, we said, okay, let's do dinosaur box. Typically, we try to keep them not necessarily family friendly, but I always try to make sure that there's at least one thing in the box that is kind of more family friendly. So for instance, like for Dangerous Waters, that one I did with kind of more like disastrous water films and Jaws and stuff. But then I also included just like a Planet Earth about the ocean in there too. So like that's more, you know, family, you know, appropriate, but in case you don't want to show your child Jaws and traumatize them. So, so that's kind of what we did with that, because obviously a lot of times kids will see the boxes and say, how cool. So behind the scenes, once you've picked your theme, we mark the items that we're putting in them with display tape so that circulation knows to set those aside when they get returned. Because sometimes the things don't come back in the box. Sometimes people return them piecemeal when they find them in their houses. And then what we decided to do was to create an insert in each of the boxes that has the barcodes for the items on it. So it's just a list of the items with the barcode. I found a free barcode generator online where I could just scan the item and it spits out a little JPEG of a barcode, and then I insert that into my publisher file, print it off, put it in the box. That way also when we wrap up the boxes, circulation doesn't have to completely unwrap them to check everything out. They can just take that one sheet and just go boop, 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 boop down the list and get everything checked out to the patron that's in there. And then finally, we use Polaris as our ILS. And in Leap, we can make record sets. And so generally what I do is I make a record set of items and I put all the items in it and I title it something like PHK, Borrow Box, Dangerous Waters, put the items in, and then I email our person in tech services and say, okay, I added a new record set. Can you please change the location and the circulation rules on those items? And that keeps them together in the record set. When we're done with the box and everything's been returned, take the tape off of them. And I email her and say, okay, we're done with that. You can return everything to their home locations and their original rules and delete the record. So this is just an example of what one of the little sheets looks like. So you can see there, I've got the what's inside, list of the items, and then the barcodes next to it. And then the blue one are the little stickers that we create. And this is how we change out the box title. We just stick a little round sticker in the top corner and it has the name of the theme of the box on it. And that's pretty much how we change it out. And that way we don't have to like create a new box every single time or have to worry about getting real big labels out. We just stick a new sticker on top of the old sticker. And by the time that it would be getting too thick, it's probably time to retire that box anyway. And this is just a screenshot in Polaris, what those record sets look like. So you can see it's got that, and I put a little note that the shelf location, whether or not you can put them on hold, all that's been changed. And then you can see where things are located. So this is an example of a list that hasn't been changed over yet because the shelf locations are still showing adult nonfiction, adult fiction, and then those get changed and it'll just say borrow box instead. So this is what we would put inside a typical box. So again, you've got your box, some tissue paper, items for a theme. So again, this is the dinosaur one. So you can see we've got a couple movies in there. And again, I kind of mix it up with like, we've got, you know, some fun fiction films, I would say, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Then we also have a documentary in there about Arctic dinosaurs. We have Discover magazine in there that had a bunch of things about fossils and a couple nonfiction books. And then fun things to keep from our 3D printer, a little velociraptor claw and a dinosaur footprint cookie cutter. And then also we would put on top of that the borrow box rules and the list of the items inside. So this is the little rule sheet that we created. And so again, it just tells you everything's 3 weeks. Please return the boxes to us, but don't put them in the book drop. And you can return all the items as you're done with them, and then keep all the fun things. And if you have any questions, to call us. And then last but not least, you want to make sure you're doing promotion for your fun things. So this was, again, that shark box we did. And if you're lucky enough to have somebody at your library who has 3 giant IKEA sharks, you can do this too. But so the sharks were not given away. Those were beloved. But you can see we set it up. This is an example of an Instagram one that we did. We also have information on our website about it. And from time to time, we've done displays out on our main floor where we put the boxes out like away from their original location, just so that people see them. Anytime we do that, we definitely see an increase in circulation. And that kind of reminds people like, we still have these are here. And so then here, I'm happy to share the slides with anybody who needs them later, or I can send them to Dan who can send them out. But I just included some links there. So there's the place that we ordered our boxes from, the barcode generator website that's free, and then a Google Doc of the bar box procedures. I also gave those to Dan. So if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you can see all the things that we do and all the procedures. And then that's kind of it. And I just have a little video of me stuffing one. So there's the box, put some tissue paper in and put all your stuff in. And so candy, toys, and then the little sheets. And then that's it.
I love the cookie cutter. The dinosaur footprint cookie cutter is a really nice touch.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Meg. That's amazing. That's awesome. You know what I love about this type of event is 3 different perspectives, 3 similar approaches, but slightly different, each of them. And I think that's kind of required for each different libraries. You have different procedures that you need to work through, different coworkers that you have to work with, and so there will always be those small differences between each individual approach, but all very creative and all really very interesting, and a cool way to approach this. So I am actually going to stop the recording right now.